This is the Reds POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Cincinnati Reds. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Good evening, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the Locked On Reds Postcast, brought to you by Locked On Reds and the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Tim Daniel. I am a lifelong Cincinnati Reds fan. I've been podcasting about this team for 5 years at publications such as Late Night Reds and The Riverfront, and I want to thank you all for spending some time with me tonight as we discuss the Cincinnati Reds clinching a huge series win over the San Diego Padres with a 2-1 victory tonight at Petco Park. If you are just checking my show out for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Please be sure to hit that notification button here on YouTube so you can not only get my show after each and every Reds game, but you can get Jeff and Steve Monday through Friday on Locked On Reds as well. This episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. And as you guys can tell tonight, I'm sick. But it won't be like when I was sick earlier in the year and I couldn't even talk. At least today I can talk, but we're going to get through this because I couldn't miss a chance to talk about this series win with you guys. On tonight's show, Andrew Abbott keeps him alive, baby. We're going to talk about his huge start. 8th inning magic tonight. Unbelievable 8th inning where the Reds take over. And Austin Hayes and Matt McLain, really solid at the bottom of the order today. Key Brian Hayes and Matt McLain. Oof. Man, that those cough drops are getting to me. So 8 and 9 tonight, Hayes and McLain, both big games. We're going to talk about that as well. All that and a whole lot more. And of course, I'm going to hear from you, our everydayers. Let's get to it.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I feel like this game starts and finishes with Andrew Abbott. I'm like all out of sorts right now, guys. I shouldn't be doing shows when I'm under the weather. It's not very good of me. But Andrew Abbott tonight, whew, unbelievable start from him. And now we've kind of talked about that quite a bit, right? He's really struggled since the All-Star break. He's had a little bit of a hard time getting through these games, and he's been having like some tough times with just kind of finding his rhythm after the All-Star break every year of his career so far. And tonight wasn't an issue whatsoever. He looked like the Andrew Abbott that was the All-Star that is 1B with Hunter Green, and he just dominated. So tonight's, let's kind of talk about that real quick. So 8 innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, and just 2 walks. Outstanding. Just lights out. Did whatever he wanted with the ball. I mean, Fernando Tatis hits a solo shot off him. That's something you can live with, right? Even if you lose 1-0, you go, well, Tatis got a homer. And thankfully, we don't have to have that conversation. But seeing Andrew Abbott back to his old self in a series like this where the Reds really needed a win, because not only did they need the series win to have their first back-to-back winning series since the All-Star break, but also the fact that the teams ahead of them lost tonight. So they're now tied with the Giants for 2 games behind the Mets for that final wildcard spot. So I declared them cooked. Steve declared them cooked. Jeff was saying he was 95% sure they were cooked. And then they said, no, guys, we're not cooked. We're in this. So cue that Bee Gees music. Put your Saturday Night Fever vinyl on because we're staying alive, baby. You guys don't want me to do that. But back to Andrew Abbott. What is just really impressive is it seems like he's one of those guys where whoever, if he's going against bigger teams and it's a bigger game, you get his best self. And I thought that was really huge tonight because, this was a game where they really needed him. They really needed him to put the team on their back. They really needed to find a way to get out of San Diego tonight with a win. And they managed to do just that. Yeah, John says it here. I forgot how fun September baseball can be, especially when August baseball was awful for this team. It was absolutely atrocious, right? And then September comes through and they're playing really well right now. The way they've won these last 2 games, which we're obviously going to get to the offense and the 8th inning here in the next segment, but with just really, really good starters and then getting these clutch hits that we haven't seen them get all year, it feels like. And then, of course, fighting this way. Yeah. So, that Michael Scott meme from The Office when he's just there's no doubt about it. I am so ready to get hurt again. That is where I'm at right now. That's how I feel because I'm man, Like Stone Cold says, so it says right here, I can't do the what tonight, man. I'm so sorry. They could be 1.5 out by tomorrow going into Sacramento. So, and like Josh breaks it down here, which we're going to go to, obviously, the Reds got their best rotation going into this series against the A's, which the A's are kind of low-key scary. They got some nice young talent, and they got some dudes that can hit tanks, and it's obviously a minor league ballpark. So that makes it intriguing. That makes this matchup interesting. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And then shout out Tony Santillan, takes the ninth inning tonight. Pagan gets the night off, and he handles it. Does give up a hit, but then they get through it. Thought he looked really good in that spot. So I need to mention it. A couple guys brought it up too. Sal Stewart made a really awesome play where he like robbed on that bunt that he fielded and threw the runner out at third. That was awesome. Marcus brings it up here. Brian Hayes gets robbed of a homer. So you're kind of talking about like, oh no, that can't be good. And yeah, this is great. So see, just a nice win by the Reds tonight. Obviously 2-1 isn't ideal. I mean, who cares? 2-1. I'd rather 2-1 more than 10-1, whatever it is. I don't care. Take the win. But to see them scrap out these wins they had the last couple nights like this, to take this series and get ready to go to an Ace series where they have a chance to like really kind of make some noise again and gain some ground. It's pretty nice to see. So shout out the Reds for keeping us alive. And after all of us here at Locked On declared they're cooked, they say, no, sir, we are not. And what led to that was an unbelievable eighth inning where Terry Francona managed it really well, made the right call. We're going to talk about that more right after this. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits whatever you like to bet. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick and easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. You've probably seen a million ads for hair growth product and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people, and it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root cause of thinking and shedding with a proactive approach. Whether you were at work, out with friends, or even just getting ready in the morning, Nutrafol gives you more confidence in your daily routine. I love that Nutrafol is simple to add to your day. 4 pills with a meal, no prescription needed, easy, and you can feel good about it knowing Nutrafol is NSF certified and backed by peer-reviewed studies. See thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Locked On MLB. That's Nutrafol.com, code Locked On MLB. So before we go to the turning point of the game, I wanted to bring this up because Josh kind of makes a really good point here, and it's something I'm going to talk about here in the segment. But interesting as how Elly's had a lot of one-hit games, but it still feels like he needs to break out. So Josh, I actually deep dived this because I was working a segment that I thought I was going to use, and I never did. The last time Elly De La Cruz went 2 games without going on base in a row was in June. So like we're talking about all these things, right? Well, there's no pop anymore. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. He's still doing something right. And that's why I haven't lost faith in him. And maybe it just isn't going to be the year, but I feel like 2026, man, he's going to be freaking awesome again. And I can't wait. I want to, of course, give a shout out to our everydayers here. Thank you all so much for spending some time with me. And of course, hit that YouTube notification button so you can get our shows each and every day right into your feed. Tonight's turning point, the 8th inning of the game. Let's dive into it, shall we?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
It's the inning you feel like they weren't able to put together every time they were in a situation like this, right? Like, do you guys remember? I know it feels so long ago because there's a game every day, but do you remember that stretch in April when they like lost 3 or 4 games in a row, 1-0? And there was a stretch in the middle of May where we're sitting here talking about like, what the heck? Why do they keep getting shut out? Why do they keep losing these 1-0 games? All of a sudden, you're kind of looking and you're like, oh, all right. They finally got one. They finally pulled one off. So let's go through this because this is kind of a big one. So obviously Kyle Hart comes in to take care of her for Nick Pivetta, which shout out Nick Pivetta. He was awesome tonight. I mean, I was blown away how good he was. Matt McClain strikes out swinging, and you go, all right, well, that's his really first bad game. Friedel lays out a really beautiful bunt that you could tell that Kyle Hart was not ready to ready to field. So that was kind of funny there as well. Nolan Marte grounds out, which moves Friedel up to second. They bring in Morahan to face Elly, turn Elly around, and Elly hits a ground ball to right field. And I thought it was weird he didn't advance on the throw because Friedel scores, ties the game. You thought, okay, well, with Elly's speed, he's just going to take his spot. And you're like, all right, well, tie game. We'll take it there. Steals the bag and gets a really nice jump. I mean, that's the best steal I've seen him have in a while. Really huge to have that spot there. And of course, I didn't mention they bring in Miguel Andujar here, who we've barely seen because he's had that quad injury he's been battling basically since he became a Red, it feels like. And he has a blooper into shallow left field that Elly scores on after stealing the bag. So Elly De La Cruz with two huge plays there. Lane says it here. It was so nice to see Elly stealing again, and I'm going to bring it back. Yeah, buddy, run Elly. Good things happen when Elly De La Cruz runs. Even if he's thrown out stealing a bag, that's in the back of their head, and they have to worry about him doing that. So I love it. I love the strategy. I thought that was a really great play there. Miguel Andujar coming through big time there, and then he just gets some chills, gets to hit, and rolls and goes ahead and sits down, and they bring Will Benson to pitch run for him. So I have a feeling Miguel Andujar is going to be pushing to play this series. His former team going back to play there against his old teammates. Really good. And William brings this up, and I didn't even mention this. This is so true. So Elly on the hit. What a slide by TJ Friedel to tie the game up. That was awesome. Just to kind of see him have that thought process and that aggressiveness there. Big time win. Mark says right here, big road win. Wild card still in play. Abbott hurled the gem. Abbott absolutely hurled the gem, which probably is going to be a bit not too much of a surprise if he's our locked on player of the game. Johnny says it here. So the outfielder had booted the hit, let Elly score uncontested. We'll take that as well. Pierre, thank you so much. I am battling through this, guys. My throat is crushing me right now. But I couldn't miss a chance to talk about this game with you guys because it was big. Speaking of guys who had big games, Brian Hayes and Matt McClain at the bottom of the order. Maybe didn't have the most important plays of the game, but what they did was pretty darn nice today. And we're going to talk about that right up to this. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy of the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, but actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees. It takes all the fun out of it. That's why I use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. The app made it super simple. I could even see the exact view from my seats before buying. Fees are included. You know your total upfront cost with no surprise fees at checkout. I love zone deals too. Pick the section, Gametime picks the seats, and you save big. It's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I've bought tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. So this is pretty cool. I got people in here giving me medical advice and how to heal up. So you come here for baseball talk. You stay here for medical advice. So thank you, Pierre. I did a lot of homemade honey my wife found for me. That was pretty nice. But it was that's been really helpful as well. Yes, Carter. Like I said, man, I got to be here. I love it here, and obviously. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yes, Lane, I very much enjoy the day off. I'm going to catch up on a lot of things tomorrow. I'm going to watch Superman because it came out on digital. I think. Is it tomorrow? It's whatever it is. I'm going to make sure I watch it again. I saw it in theater, so I'm excited to see it again. But you guys don't care about that. You want to talk baseball. Let's get to our Locked On Player of the Game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
So I don't think it's anyone's surprise that it's Andrew Abbott with what he was able to do today and how bad the Reds really needed him. Huge day for him and really kind of helped out a lot. Jason says Tim just needs some bourbon and honey. Now we're talking. Jason. Now we're talking. I just always need bourbon and honey. What are you talking about? It's not just when I'm sick. But I want to make sure we gave some love to the 8 and 9 hitters tonight, Ke'Bryan Hayes and Matt McLain. I know obviously Ke'Bryan Hayes gets robbed of a home run. That ball looked really high. I mean, that was a hell of a hit. That part kind of sticks out. But combined between the guys, so they go 3 for 6 combined with 2 walks total. And maybe they didn't score any of the 2 runs. Maybe they didn't do anything, but they gave them chances. And I think that in a game like this, with guys like that, where Ke'Bryan Hayes comes to Cincinnati and he's kind of like well known for not being able to hit, and Matt McLain, who certainly has not been up to expectations, but has played really well of late. Seeing these guys kind of go out there and do like give the Reds those kind of games has been huge. I mean, McLain's got a 924 OPS his last 7 games. And Ke'Bryan Hayes kind of came back down to earth a little bit with his hitting, but he's kind of getting back going again. He's got a 409 on base his last 7. He's 5 for 17 with 4 walks. He has just as many walks as strikeouts in his last 7 games. I cannot believe. We can say what we want about Chris Valaika as a hitting coach, and I'm not going to be here to argue with anybody on a lot of those. But I do think that something has worked that they found with Ke'Bryan Hayes. And maybe it's just getting out of Pittsburgh. I don't know what it is, but he fits really well here. And I want to make sure I make mention of this because Josh brought it up. But happy birthday to the GOAT, Joseph Daniel Votto. Right here. You guys can't really see it the way my camera's set up today, but the GOAT, to me, my all-time favorite Red. And so make sure we give some love to JDV. If only he were still in this uni with this team, it would be a lot of fun. Keith says, hey, Tim, I always listen, but first time live. I'll be repping the Reds in Sacramento. Thanks for staying up late. Kurt Rivera says, not Keith. I'm sorry. Kurt, thank you for hanging out and coming to join us live, man. We appreciate it. Yeah, those games are at like 10 o'clock Friday and Saturday. So I cannot wait to do that game. Yeah, Lane says, whatever to do with Hayes, and you keep doing it. And Josh says, the Padres cameras crews just screw us up flat. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I thought that fall was for sure out of there. But hey, we can go ahead and wrap this one up. We have an off day tomorrow. I'm going to use that to rest up so that way get my voice back for Friday night. But tonight we can discuss the Reds celebrating a victory 2-1 over the San Diego Padres. The Reds have 2 runs on 7 hits and no errors. The Padres have 1 run on 6 hits and an error. Andrew Abbott is your winner. He is 9-6 with a 279. Adrian Morjan is the loser tonight. He is now 11-5, and Tony Santillan picks up his 6th save of the season. And then the Reds are off tomorrow and Friday, back at it in Sacramento, California, taking on the Athletics. I almost said Oakland Athletics. Brady Singer takes the hill for the Reds. He is 13-9 with a 3.98 ERA, and as we know, has been cruising. The A's have not announced who their starter is going to be per their app yet, but so I'll hopefully have that information soon. But that first pitch will be at 10:05, so we're looking at a late one Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday we're back to like that 4:05 time. So everyone, thank you so much for spending some time with me and dealing through my sickness with me. I'm Tim Daniel. I'll see you all Friday night. Go Red Legs. Let's hope this good fortune keeps going. Staying alive.